100%. Well,
I feel like my son gives me jewels all the time because he has his finger on the pulse of what's going on in a way that it's not possible for me to have my finger on the pulse in that way.
yeah. How old's your son?
He's 25 now.
Wow. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, he represents a subculture. He
Right.
represents a new world within the culture. You can either respect that or you can just be like, back in my day. You get what I mean?
Yes, people have to be open. They got to be open to that new insight and open to the fact that like maybe there's something in the world that you don't see yet.
For
No, that's
sure, for sure.
huge. So
And I
how do you,
think the whole platform encompasses that.
right, being open to new things and not just like open to it at the beginning. Like while we're creating the platform, we want to take people's ideas and but like it's a process, right? Like we want the platform itself to evolve with the people. That's why it's such an open, modular, creative platform because we want people to go and like I want people to see they have an experience and then go and make their own world, right? And make something else that maybe connects to like they can all be connected. There's a lot of like interaction, but I want people to see that and be like, "Oh, I could do that." Right? I could create my own studio. I could create my own team, and we can put out cool content or make a good community, right? Whatever that may be. It's not just something that happens once. It's a lifestyle. It's a process. It's actually we want to set up a system that is open. I've just gotten this impression hearing about kind of like your vision, the way that you look at the technology and look at your community. I feel like it's different. I feel like your relationship with your community looks a lot different than other artists and the way that they interact. For one, their openness to the community. How do you feel like this perspective has like changed the kind of community that you have or like your relationship with the community? What do you feel like has been different about that just because of your perspective?
Yeah, I think it's the kind of community that I have. I've learned so much from them. It's changed my perspective. You
Ooh,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
I reluctantly, apprehensively, kind of like maneuvered into this space. You know,
Mm,
I'm taking it. I'm taking baby steps. In my community that I've been dealing with so far, who bought my first coin, they're so enlightened. Like they taught me so much, even just about crypto. They taught me a lot. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like being in a room with a bunch of just smart ass people who can just tell you basically how to fucking navigate. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like so many different people have so many different things to say. It's like a think tank.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
it's not like you're dealing with fans. You're dealing with people who understand the space and are welcoming you to the space, and that's rare because you can't go into Silicon Valley and get that kind of embrace.
Mm,
You can't go into the crypto world and get that kind of embrace.
yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like usually it's like, here come the rappers again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the whole Web3 world, the whole Web3 space, which takes up a lot of space, like everybody over here cool as fuck.
That's awesome, man.
Illmind, Gary V, all the guys are cool as fuck.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And I love learning new things. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
And
saying? So
I think it feels like it's kind of this cyclical thing, right? Where it's like, okay, because you're open minded and the audience is open minded, you're hearing from them, which changes you, which also makes you more open to hearing from them more because of the positive feedback, right?
yeah,
Because of the way that they've influenced you. And so again, it creates this kind of cycle of you can kind of adapt your audience and they adapt to you, but it's like you've got for one, it means you got to find the right community,
yeah,
but it also
yeah,
means it's really interesting because it's you've got to find a community that you can connect with, but that means you have to present yourself that way too, right? It's like you have the community in a lot of ways that you create, right? Like
yeah,
if you're putting out, this negative image, if you're putting out like a certain vibe, then you're going to get the community that emulates that, right? That lives that way,
yeah,
that is closed-minded. And that
yeah,
makes it harder for them to give you something you could learn from to change to create a better community. So it's kind of negative feedback loop or positive feedback loop. But then at the same time, when you have that openness, it is tough because there's no way to avoid having some people in the community who create a whole ton of negativity. They bring that with them wherever they go, right? And so
mhm,
what's cool about being able to create your own space, creating something that's a little bit more exclusive, you give people the opportunity to self-filter a little bit, right? Like
right,
allow people, it's like, hey, if you want to come into this and be a part of this and actually collaborate in a meaningful way, if you want to have an experience pass and be a part of what we're creating, then you can come and do that, right? But that's going to be a
mhm,
barrier to entry that the negative people, they're not going to cross that threshold, right? So you kind of filter out a
right,
lot of the people who want to be collaborative, who want to contribute.
Yeah, and plus it's gonna be an environment where it's not really fun to troll.
Yeah, right.
It's not gonna be a fun trolling environment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like people are gonna just be looking at you like, "What's your problem?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you won't get a bunch of laugh emojis.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
You So that's gonna
Right,
be a
because
cool.
the communication can't be simplified to just a bunch of emojis, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's got to be when you make communication, making an opportunity for communication that's more personal, that's more human, then people are forced to own up to that a little bit, right? It's like
exactly.
you're not going to treat somebody standing on the sidewalk the same way you would somebody who's on the internet, right?
I never
And
ran. I've never ran into a troll. Well, I ran into a troll one time in real life. But other than that,
right, the
never run into him.
the consequences aren't fun when you're trolling people in real life.
Nope, nope.
Yeah.
That guy will tell you it's not fun.
Right, exactly. And so the more we try to, the online world's never going to be the real world. You got to live your life and go, touch grass and whatnot. But like, with the more we do stuff online, it connects us across the world. It's a blessing, right? The more we try to make this similar, we try to match the way we communicate in the real world, the harder it is for people to kind of like hide behind this facade of like, I'm just a face on the screen, right? The more we
Right,
make people give this people a sense of being face to face, you got to own up to your words a little bit more.
right, exactly, exactly. And I love that. I love it. I feel like if you had three homies in a place, two of the homies are arguing with each other. Instead of the third homie trying to break them up, no, let them fight.
Yep.
It'd be a lot less arguing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Arguing. If people knew they had to put some action with those words and be
Yep.
accountable for some of the things they say, they watch what they say. And I want to create a respectable environment, man. I
Yeah.
love love. I love love. When there's nothing but love in the air, man, that's where the fun is at.
Yeah. Yeah, but
You know what I
sometimes
mean?
love means tough love, right? And there's
Yeah.
this process where
Yeah.
like we in some ways, in our culture, our modern culture, we cushion all the corners, we all the sharp things, all the hard things, we try and soften it, right? So that people don't have to
Mhm,
experience pain going through their lives, right? Some people experience
mhm.
lots of pain. And so in a modern culture where we're averse to that, those people get ignored, right? Because we don't want to talk about the pain, right? And so either you're going through pain and it's being ignored, you have no way to process that pain, or you're
Mhm.
not going through pain because you've been cushioned your whole life, right? And so
Right.
we just don't know how to deal with pain because some people aren't dealing with it because they don't experience it in their life, and some people aren't dealing with it because no one will talk to them about it, right? And so what you're talking about, where it's like sometimes you just got to embrace conflict and let people fight a little
Yeah.
bit because it's
Mhm.
good to get bruised and get back up. I did a lot of wrestling through college in high school. Shoot, man, you go 6 minutes on the mat with somebody, and it's a spiritual experience, right? Like you're at the end of yourself, right? You're physically like struggling with another person, and you're matching strength to strength. Like it's hard not to like appreciate somebody after that, right? You'd think like, oh, it's conflict, you're
Newfound
competing.
respect. Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
exactly. But you respect their strength, you respect
Mhm.
and so it's like whether you get beat, whether you win. Some people have a bad attitude about it, but most of the wrestlers that I met, that I got to encounter, were people who they grew to respect somebody else's strength, and it also made them a humbler person. It made them a more respectful person because they've actually had to butt heads with other people and face real challenges.
And that makes you way more comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You know where you stand. You know who you are.
Exactly. I mean, I box coming up, so
Yep, yep,
it gives you a new kind of confidence, a different kind of discipline,
yep.
and it allows you to give grace a lot easier.
Amen. Amen.
Hmm.
I love it, dude. Man, I could keep going just forever. But yeah, we're gonna have to just do this again. This is
Oh, man.
always a blasty blast, man.
Always love talking to you, Lex.
Heck yeah, brother.
Always, my brother.
Okay. Until
Kids,
next time.
you nap already?
What's that?
Are the kids napping right now?
Oh heck yeah. Yep. This is the quiet
Okay.
time. This is the lull in the day where I get to do the conversations.
Okay, my brother. Well, shit. Let's do it again soon, man. Love and respect to you.
Heck yeah, brother. Peace.
Okay. Peace. Peace.